Hello, everybody. Here for a live stream. It's Mayo's. What's this channel now called? It's called CineMayo. I got three channels. It's so hard to keep up. CineMayo's movie chat, I guess. And here I am with the usual crew. Tom Hunyadi.
Up and away, Joe.
I know what that means. Tim Allen. Hello, Tim.
Hello.
And I know we're going to get to that. We're going to get to Superman, but we're going to wait till more people come because that's going to be the big topic. So what's going on this past week? Did you all watch a few movies, or at least one?
At least one.
Yeah, we got. I watched two. I might have watched more. I watched two and a half. I don't count the half ones. So we'll see how that goes. Hi, Robbie, and hello, Mike. We finally got people showing up here. What's going on? Who are we talking to? Nobody. We got some people, 10 people. All right. So I don't know. I wish there was something to I got to think of something in the future to break the ice. We were just talking about ice off camera to get started here, And I don't really have stuff to talk about to start, except our usual movie finds and views. Hello, Douglas. Hello, Charles. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. Appreciate it. Well, I'm going to skip Tim because he didn't pick nothing up. But so, Tom, tell us now. Did you pick up anything? I know you did, but I'm just playing it up.
I did.
I don't know what it is.
I did. Well, I mean, I sent you the. Well, either way, I picked a couple things up. One, being one of your favorite movies, and that's Westworld.
Sure.
I collect things. I like to collect things from the year I was born. So the movie came out in 1973, the year I was born. Finally watched it, and we can get to it later about when we talk about watching stuff. But I gotta tell you, I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. But definitely want to watch it again. Let it all sink in and whatnot. But Westworld, that was one of my pickups this week. And the second one just came in today. I was scrolling through my Amazon list and looking at movies, and this is a blind buy. This one is a Kino classic. Okay, if you can see that there. Not part of the Kino Lorber line. This is a completely different line of film, but this is called Coming Apart with Rip Torn. And like I said, it's a blind buy. And I'm looking forward to seeing this. It's kind of like a lost footage type of movie, So kind of like the Blair Witch Project, something like that in that kind of vein. So looking forward to watching this, kind of like a psychological thriller type film. So good to see a bunch of special features on here. This film came out in 1969, so looking forward to watching that. So those are the two pickups that I got this week.
All right, that's his pickups. Now, when I got off the show last week, I went out to my doorstep and there was a box of movies there. So I actually had these that were there before we did the show last time. So had I known that, had I checked my phone, the delivery was made, I could have shown these last week. But anyway, at least I have something to show this week. Well, something I wanted to upgrade to Blu-ray for a long time. John Frankenheimer film, Seconds. And, the story with this, I wound up paying $26 for this, which was some money off. It's a Criterion.
Yeah.
I really liked this movie when I saw
Amazon? You got it at Amazon then, right?
I got it at Amazon, and I think it's cheaper. The Criterion.
Yeah, because look, like Criterion's matching Barnes and Nobles right now. Everything is pretty much half off right now on Amazon.
Yeah, well, the story had been that I knew I had ordered this from Amazon, and then on the first day of the sale at Barnes and Noble, I went there and they had one copy of this. I knew they had one copy, so I went there when they opened. As soon as they opened, so I could get it, and I got it. I picked it up, I should say, and I'm like, I got to see first if I can cancel the other one and get it for $21 instead of $26. And it turned out it was too late, so I wound up doing it at Barnes and Noble and paying an extra $5. But it is what it is. Now this, I'm very happy that I got on a DVD because I had a crummy copy. This is a made-for-TV movie. Came out in 1993, and I recorded it. And the night that I recorded it, there was a bad thunderstorm, and in certain parts, the picture would get wavy. And that's a copy I've had since 1993. Now that I built it up, it's the reunion movie, The Odd Couple Together, and made-for-TV. This gets a lot of knocks. This movie, personally, I think it's fun. Is it as great as a TV show? Not really, but the writers on here nailed everything that was made the show so much fun. There were a lot of lines, like almost every line that was popular was used, whatever it would be. Oscar.
Oh, boy, you had a big day.
That was maybe one of my favorite lines, but that's not one of the big ones.
Was Klugman's voice pretty rough at that point?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They were going to make a reunion movie. They wanted to make a reunion movie for a long time. They couldn't get a script. One of them that almost got shot before this was Felix was going to win was going to run in a race, a running competition, and that never made it. But anyway, when he got the throat cancer and the operation, Jack Klugman, they worked it into the script. Now, it makes sense. I always say, because Oscar Madison, Felix always warned him, don't smoke.
Right.
Don't eat. It makes sense that Oscar Madison would have that. But yet he keeps on dealing with his ways anyway. Even though he's had the surgery, now he has a rough speaking voice. He still won't listen, and he's still eating pastrami heroes and all of this. So Felix winds up staying with him to kind of nurse him back to health.
Now let me ask you this: Is he still does Felix still married? I mean, it has his
he's still married. He's still married to Gloria. The thing about it is a lot of the knocks that people say about this is that, well, first of all, it's not the same actress who played Gloria. It's a different actor.
Okay.
Murray the cop is played by somebody else. Al Molinaro, I don't think was available at the time or something. So some of the players are different. The only one who really returns from the original series is Penny Marshall. Makes a cameo as Myrna Turner. That's the only one. And for some reason, the apartment is the original apartment, the one like in the movie, and the one that's in the first season, not the last season. It's weird. And there's no laugh track, so it's a little. Well, there wasn't. There's a laugh track in the first season. There was no. There's a live audience in the rest of them, but there's no laughter. But I just think that you have to take allowance for Jack Klugman's condition, and a lot of people turned off by it. It's a story of him fighting his battle with the cancer and getting back to health and getting his confidence back after the surgery, and Felix annoying him every step of the way. So it kind of worked. So that's that one. Okay, I wanted an upgrade of this. It's funny whenever I show a 4K. I can't believe I have a 4K, but that's because if it's a Blu-ray with it. And it's one of the most underrated, in my opinion, movies. Death Becomes Her with Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, and Bruce Willis in his most unusual role and uncharacteristic role. I think he's wonderful here as largely a nerd kind of character. I think he's against type, and I think it's wonderful. It's a wonderful comedy that I really like. Robert Zemeckis, and I
remember seeing that in the theater and not caring about it back then, but maybe I should give it another spin.
Well, things are not for everybody. If you want to get rid of the 4K. No, but I don't know about that, because one day I may get a 4K by necessity. Who knows?
Yeah.
So I like that movie. Now we go to Boris Karloff. This is a documentary called The Man Behind the Monster. Documentary of Boris Karloff. It's very well done, but it leaves some stuff to be desired from a diehard fan. There's like certain things you wish were in here that they skip over, but there's a lot of good footage anyway. But then I discovered after it was over, they had extra features, and one of them was called Karloff, The Rest of the Story. That's 2 hours long. And the reason it's 2 hours long is it's part of the documentary. This was going to be like 4 hours.
So how long is the actual documentary?
The actual documentary was cut down to, I believe, 98 minutes, they said.
Okay.
and it was supposed to be nearly 4 hours, whatever that comes out to. I don't know. And that's too long. So you're actually getting two documentaries, really. You watch the way they cut it, and then you watch another one that has all the footage that wasn't used and clips. A lot of it's movie clips, and movie clips of his career, silent movies, early sound movies, stuff you don't see anywhere else. I mean, so that was interesting for the diehard. I recommended it. And sticking with Karloff, this has a little bit of a story. Okay, as sure as my name is Boris Karloff, this is a thriller. The TV show, thriller, like Alfred Hitchcock Presents. There's all the chapters in there, seasons, I should say, seasons. Now, here's a story about this. I bought this when it was new. It was $100 or so when I bought it in 2010, I think. And I started watching the first season. And I watched about 5 episodes. I'm like, I ain't digging this. I'm really not digging this. Now, Karloff is in some of the episodes. He's not in a lot. He's in some of them, some of the better ones. But the first 5, 6, I was like, this really, I don't like this at all. So I wound up selling it to a friend for probably around the same price. So I got my money back way back in 2010. And now lately I was getting the itch to watch the whole thing over time and get it cheaper. So I didn't realize it was used when I ordered it. I think it was $50. It's about $50. So I got it. I used anyway. That's the story of this one. And I think that's it for things that I picked up, unless I miss stuff, because I got stuff all over here in any order. All right. So I'm going to start with, if we can, before I go to Tim, because I was going to go to Tim for what he watched. Do I put this up here before? Mayo, the force be with you. Be with you, not with me. I just got tickets today to Bob Dylan's 5 concert. What does that got to do with movies? But anyway, I've seen him live 7 times, so can't wait. Enjoy. Harrison Ford's birthday today. Yeah, he's up there.
It's my father's birthday, too.
But wait a minute.
Well,
it's not the birthday.
That was yesterday, then. That was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah, today is my father's birthday.
Hello, James. How are you? Okay, let's see. They has been a British TV program tonight called Shark Celebrity Infested Waters. Programs about getting people to swing with sharks. Too loose, they fear them. This doesn't make sense. So I really hope that you could try to clear this up for us a little bit, please.
Could you put that into words which even Caesar could understand?
I love it. I finally got the Karloff, the blue. It's out of print. Oh, I don't know. I got it. Let's see. Well, because I'm so desperate to see stuff, I like the first Spaceballs. I guess I take a chance with the new one. Hello, Ramoga. That's how I say it. That's right. How does Mayology sound for your other channel? Rants, debates, opinions, life on. No, it's going to be Mayo Loves Mondays. It's just a matter of another 2 days or something before I can change it. Yeah, I'm kind of set on it. So thank you, though, for your offer and thought. Okay, now Tim Allen, we're going to start with you, Tim, to let us know what you've been watching lately.
Well, I only watched 2 films this week because I watched 5 commentaries.
Okay.
I watched 2 commentaries for one of the films I watched last week that I hadn't watched yet. Then I watched the next film and 2 commentaries from that, and then a commentary from the other film I watched. So if you watch one day, that's all the days. So anyway, the first film I watched was Thunderbird 6, the other film from my Thunderbird.
Thunderbirds again.
But let me Thunderbird 6 is really good. Okay, Thunderbird 6 has like character development, and there's actually a story, and you care about the characters. It's not just a bunch of puppets running around trying
I'm too adult for that, Tim. I can't.
no, this is
Last week.
because I've got a little rant here, but this is really good. It's story based, and it's plus it's not CGI, which I appreciate things that are done well. And this isn't CGI.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
What company puts that out on Blu-ray, Tim?
This would be Kino Lorber.
Okay, cool.
Naturally, the greatest genre there is.
And but here's my thing. So I watched 2 commentaries on the Thunderbirds Go film. First one was Sylvia Anderson and her director, the guy that directed both these films. Great, fine commentary. They reminisce and all of that stuff. And they're probably both gone now, but when they did this. And then there was a commentary by 2 historians, which was fine. Great, factual. He told you a lot of stuff. Then this film had commentary by Sylvia Anderson and the director, which was, again, fine. You know, they didn't rehash the same stuff, which was nice, and blah, blah, blah. And then it had a commentary by 2 animation maker, quote unquote, experts that had nothing but disdain for the movie, treated it as a joke, and spent literally the 90-minute commentary just making fun of the movie and wondering why it exists and all of this stuff. And it teed me off because, it teed me off why Kino Lorber would use it. And why did these guys get hired to do the commentary if they don't like the film or don't have anything constructive to say about it? I mean, it was awful. I mean, if you don't have to like a film, if a film's bad or whatever, and you have definite things to say about it, but these are just these 2 guys' opinions, and it wasn't good. So I was mad. This commentary made me mad. If you don't like a film and don't have anything constructive to say, good or bad, they didn't have any proof of what they were saying. They just their opinions. Right. I don't like it. Right, and I'm like, oh, what? And both of them. And I'm like, well, what are you doing there? So get this. This is great. Watch the 2 commentaries from Thunderbirds Go. Watch the first commentary on Thunderbird 6. Don't put yourself in the misery of watching the second commentary because it's terrible. Okay. I watched that, and then I'm going through my movies, and I'm like, I've never seen this. So I watched Logan's Run.
Oh, great. Cool.
And I liked it, but I was a little bit mad about something. Nothing to do with the movie. Again, a little bit. I remember as a kid when this came out all over the radio constantly and TV too. I remember the tagline for this commercial. Logan lives in a world where you can only live to be 30. Logan is 29. Well, Logan is 29. He's 26. And that I spent 40 years of my life thinking that this guy's about to turn 30. So he runs, and no, he's 26, and they turn his button on so he has to run. It's ridiculous. I mean, I just don't like the advertising, but everything else is great. Farrah Fawcett's cool. Jenny Arguter, I fell in love with her. She was
I know
great.
Farrah Fawcett in the movie says she likes dark hair, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I she's just
there's like a hairdressing hair.
In the commentary, everybody's praising her performance, and I'm like, I don't understand why it wasn't good. But anyway, but yeah, Jenny Arguter was great, and of course Michael York was good, and really good movie. And that
Logan was born to run.
Except Logan isn't 29. Other than that, but they never say his movie.
Over. I love those science fiction movies from that era, but I never really cared too much for Logan's Run. So I haven't seen it in a very, 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 very long time, and I do have a Blu-ray cheap that I picked up of that one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to revisit it. And I didn't remember the bit of. I remember the tagline that you said. Logan's 29, so he's
but
right
he's
there.
not. He's 20. He's 26.
Yeah.
So and they mentioned that specifically in the movie. So the tagline just teed me off. And by the way, Peter Ustinov is great too. He's
he's a cat man.
And apparently most of his part he improvised because he couldn't be bothered memorizing the lines, and his were better anyway. So they just let him go, which is great.
So let me get some comments here. Joe asking me, what's your favorite James Caan films? Rollerball, Misery, The Godfather. Boy, there should be a lot of other ones, but those are the three that first come to mind for me.
Thief,
of course.
Early 1980s, great film.
I've never been a James Caan fan. Sorry.
Now again, my short-term memory. Where did they say he was going to be? He was in a lead for a first choice for a movie that I watched recently or something, and I don't know what it was. Okay, let's see. So the animated film. What is that? Elio?
Oh, Elio. Yeah, Elio. Yeah. That just came out a couple weeks ago. Pixar film.
Cherry Carter says hello.
Hello.
Hey, Jeff. Good to see you. Hello. All right. The show was about sharks and people being afraid of them. I said swing instead of swim. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Doing well. Thanks. Okay. So, Tim, what else have you seen?
That's it. I just saw those two movies.
I
watched 5 commentaries, and they take as long as a movie. So I only watched 2 films this week, unfortunately.
Well, I'm going to save Tom for last because I want to get to the big Superman reveal. So I'll talk about what I saw. Okay. My girlfriend also has a collection of movies, DVDs. Before I even met her, she had these, and most of them I couldn't care less about. Most of them are rom-coms, and most of them are from the period like 2000 to 2007, like that area. I don't know, but she's got a lot of old movies too, and she's sometimes she likes Fred Astaire. She likes musicals, so sometimes we watch those. But there was one she was asking me to watch for a while, and I finally said, "Hey, let's watch that one. Let's do it." It's a movie that I liked. I never saw this all the way through.
Oh yeah, To Serve with Love. That's a great movie.
To Serve with Love.
Yeah.
In a way, that's kind of a remake of Blackboard Jungle with Sidney Poitier as well.
I was going to say, because I said, this idea has been done. I mean, this has been done a lot of times. I don't know. I didn't know if this was the first, although I had seen Blackboard Jungle when I was on my mission to watch all kinds of movies. I did that once. And, I've seen it there, and I've seen it since then. It's TV episodes of things, and the whole idea about a teacher that comes in and he's meeting a lot of grief from students that are troubled students, and they make his life hell, and then he winds up straightening them out, and they all respect him, and they start calling him sir. And look, Sidney Poitier is the standout in this. Yeah. He is fantastic in this. And anytime I've seen him in anything, whether it's Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, whether it's The Defiant Ones, and I think I've seen other movies with him, but I don't know the names right now. But he's very powerful.
In the Still of the Night.
The Heat of the Night.
In the Heat of the Night. Thank you. Yeah. The Heat of the Night.
And he's just really great actor, and I'm so happy with him in this movie. And I had trouble understanding a lot of the accents, British accents are kind of tough.
British accents, right.
I was going to put the subtitles on to help me, but I didn't. I didn't know till after the movie was over that Lulu was in the movie. I know she did the song, and there's a girl singing it at the end. And the song they played like 3 or 4 times in here, a little too much. The opening credits, the closing, in between. But I like the song. I like the movie. I do. Had a really good time with this. A good choice, if I do say
Yeah,
so.
yeah, good one. I'm glad you watched it. So was that your first time watching it?
Yeah,
Oh,
first
cool.
seeing it.
Yeah.
Well, like, maybe I catch glimpses of these on TV, which that'll make me think of something else that I saw. Turner Classic Movies. I was home one afternoon. I put it on, and there's a movie that I'd heard of. I got it kind of at the beginning. I might have missed 5 minutes.
All right.
So I don't count it as a really properly viewed movie, but it was Tony Randall that I saw on there. It's from 1962, and it's called Boys Night Out, and it's got Kim Novak in it, James Garner, and I don't know who the other guys are. It's about a bunch of guys that wind up getting an apartment, a ritzy apartment, to kind of romance this girl played by Kim Novak at the apartment, and they're all married except for the James Garner character, and they have excuses as to where they're going to go, and they go in there, and none of these guys are going to get a chance to nail her. She knows that right away, but they all go there for different reasons, and well, some of them have what in mind. But I saw most of the movie, but then at the end I'm like, I've seen enough, and I shut it off, and I'm like, so I don't count it as a view, but that's one that I did see a lot of, and it was fun, but it's of the time. All right, so another movie I would watch, this is the last one. Movie that I've seen a few times already. I like it a lot. I got it on a Blu-ray upgrade recently, but my friend Anthony came over, and I don't remember if I mentioned last time that he wanted to see The Sting. That's not what this is. He wanted to see The Sting, and I don't think he really could follow it. I don't think I got to make a video about this. I can't stand when you show somebody a movie that you like, and it's over, and it's like you get up. Okay, so what's going on? So what do you want to do tomorrow? I'm like, whoa, we watched the movie. Don't you have anything to say about the movie? and he's like, yeah, 3 out of 4 stars. I'm like, well, performances, scenes you like, things you. He goes, I really couldn't follow a lot of it, but I told him he might not be able to. It took me a few views when I was younger to really get everything. But anyway, that was the other week. This week, he wanted to see this one, which is the one I said that I've seen many times.
Yes.
The Insomnia American version, which again, every time this comes up, there's a Swedish version, right, Tom? It's from Sweden.
Yes.
Which I also thought was very good. I remember seeing that, renting it. Netflix when I had Netflix discs sent through the mail, and I remember liking it just as much, pretty much. So this is Al Pacino as a cop who has a partner, and he accidentally shoots him, and that's only part of the story of it. I can't tell everything in it in a short period of time. Accidentally kills him, but there was an investigation going on where he learned that his partner, who we would later kill accidentally, was going to cut a deal and kind of testify to be let off against Pacino, his partner. So the question is, did he kill him deliberately? Did he accidentally kill him? Insomnia is because the case they're on a case of a killing of a young teenage girl in Alaska. And they're there at the time of year where the sun never goes down. It's up all the time. It doesn't get dark at all. So he can't sleep. So he's like going through all these problems that he has, killing his partner accidentally, trying to find who killed the teenage girl, all this stuff. And I should mention Robin Williams is the bad guy, the villain, if you want. To see Robin Williams with Al Pacino is really great here. Williams is very good. I never liked him as a stand-up comic, but I like him as an actor pretty much more than that. But anyway, Pacino has insomnia because he can't sleep, and he's like seeing things and he's hearing things. He can't function, and he's got to do all these things and try to nail down Robin Williams, try to hide evidence that he might have killed his partner, deliberately, all this kind of stuff. It's a good movie. Let's put it that way. Long story short, seen it before.
Too late.
Yeah, all right. Well, it always seems like that, believe me, even when you guys are talking. But anyway, so let's see, we'll go back a little bit here. Well, we are going to talk about that, that's for sure. James Caan, great in Wes Anderson's Bottle Rocket.
Bottle Rocket, yeah. Yep. Agreed.
There will be thoughts very shortly on this because Tom's seen it. So we're going to get in there any moment now. Logan's Run. Yeah, I don't think I've done any running since my late 20s. I came to hear about Superman. Yeah, Doc. Glad to hear that. Doc, I watched a little bit of your live stream with the new system. I know you got to use a new system. But, man, that logo up in the corner that kind of goes on, moves around and blinks. It's like, get out of my face with that. But you ever think of Restream? The Restream is another service you might.
They don't have a free version, period. So
Oh.
you can't even try it.
Oh, so that's the end of that one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That was the end of that one.
Freebie and the Bean, James Caan.
The Rain People.
Where does she store her DVDs? I can't imagine you let them sit with yours. Well, I believe we have our separate rooms for them. You know, she's got another room for all her stuff, and I got my room. We need 2 bedrooms at least. We could use 3 actually down the line. But it's funny. Like I was almost thinking of taking To Sir With Love and putting it in my collection, but I was also wondering if I should get a Blu-ray of it. And now this is more of a subject for my other channel about life. But I started thinking to myself, will I ever see it again? That's what happens when you get older. You think, yeah, I liked it. I like to maybe get it on Blu-ray, but how many times more am I going to see it in the remainder of how many years I'm going to be here? I don't really think when I watch it again the next 10 years, I don't know. Got a Cliff Richard film yesterday on TV, 74, Take Me High, odd film about a hamburger. Huh. Oh, hello, Kimba. I have Boys Night Out on DVD. You guys are having a Boys Night In. I tell you, that Kim Novak, she was hot. I got to give you that. And, I would be over there too. You know, I come up with my excuses. Terrible. No, not really. Not really. Yes, I stopped watching my Columbo box set. Yes, I did, and I got to go back to it. I got to go back to Night Gallery. I got to go back to Lost in Space. I got to go back to Frasier. But right now I'm busy with the Brady Bunch. I'm into season 3, and guess what tonight's episode was? Only those who know the Brady Bunch will recognize this. Tonight we're having pork chops and apple chops. Okay. That was the one tonight that I watched. What a great show. It's impossible for me for a child's perspective, a great show time to be a child, and it reminds me of being a child. But hard to believe Robert Reed really didn't like doing the show, and he was a pain in the ass, and wanted to rewrite everying and had an attitude. Really hard.
Yeah, I read the Growing Up Brady book, and he kept maps and charts and things in his office, and every episode he would come up to Sherwood Shorts and tell him all the things that weren't possible that needed to be fixed. And Sherwood, it's a comedy. Relax.
It is incredible. Like there was something, I don't remember the exact example, but there was something about strawberries. You remember that example? Like one of the things that he walks into the room. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact line. And they're cooking in the kitchen, and he said, "It smells like I've gone to strawberry heaven," or something like that. And he said, "You can't say that strawberries don't emit an odor when they're cooked or something." Like he didn't.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing he did. You know,
stuff like that. And it's like, get out of here, man. Wow,
it was constant, and they didn't love working with him.
Without being offensive, I need to tiptoe around the topic. Do you think they dumb down films for American audiences? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, especially the climate we have today. Yes, absolutely.
Sure. Did you know that Kino Lorber is releasing the Abbott and Costello Horror Collection on 4K? I don't think I knew that. No.
Yeah, I saw that advertised.
They're doing it and not Universal?
I think they got the distributing rights to it or something. They just picked up the rights to distribute it, I think.
Been watching reruns of Different Strokes. Brings back some childhood memories. That never did much for me. What you talking about, 50 Thunderer?
Yeah, no, not me either.
It don't matter what you got, not a lot. So what?
My thoughts on Dark Shadows are the same ones every time somebody brings it up, but you probably haven't heard them yet. That is, one time I got a DVD set. There's a lot of DVDs, a lot of episodes of that. And I was bored out of my skull, man. I love horror, and I love that. I love all that ambiance and castles and, atmosphere. But it was boring as hell. But I have the movie called House of Dark Shadows, which is a kind of abbreviated version of a lot of the story in it, and I think that is worth watching. The movie House of Dark Shadows.
I've never seen it, believe it or not. It didn't air in my town. It didn't air in my city. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I used to come home from school, and I remember the theme would be on, like this theme song or something. But I mean, theme music. Oh, it reminds me. Speaking of music, one other thing about To Sir with Love. At the beginning, it said music by Ron Grainer, who I thought wasn't really that well known. Ron Grainer is the guy that I love, who does my favorite movie soundtrack, The Omega Man.
There you go.
And I said, wow, that made me take notice. So, okay, in the middle of Johnny Quest, I find it engrossing. All right. Well, now it's time to get really to it, because we're going to talk to Tom about what he's seen, and in particular, we don't want to hear about the new Superman movie.
Yeah. Before we get to that, John, I do want to watch Westworld one more time before we talk about it. Before we talk about that, so let me watch it one more time before we can get into that. Because I want to know a little bit more better because I know you know it by the back of your hand. So
I know it like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
I never saw that before.
Yeah.
No, seriously. But you don't want to talk about it all tonight?
Not right now.
First impressions.
First impressions, like I said, I liked it. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it. I had a few problems with it. First of all, I think it would have benefited if it was an R-rated movie and not a kiddie movie, which I felt like it was more of a kid movie than it was an adult movie.
You know why I'm laughing at that? Because I have a story that when I first saw it, you got to understand, I was 11 when it came out.
Right.
And I went to see it with a friend, two brothers, and his dad brought us. And Soylent Green was with it. So I saw that's the double feature. Beautiful. And I loved it. I loved it because, again, you got to put yourself at a time where there's nothing like that at the time. There was no Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator. There was no robots really gone berserk like that, killing machines with the computer program and all this. So it was really intense. The funny part I'm laughing at about when you said should have been R is I'm thinking to myself, after that, I wanted to see it again. And my cousin and I tried to get in countless times. And the lady, one of those old ladies with the flashlight that used to be in, would not let us in because it was PG. She would not let us in. And we couldn't see it for the longest time. And I remember asking him, a man there, old stories where you would, guys who used to buy Playboy magazine, you'd say to them, hey, mister, can you buy a Playboy magazine? As for me. These days, forget it. He's going to jail, if you even talks to you. But anyway, that woman would not listen. So, they thought back then, something outrageous. Even then I thought there's nothing outrageous in here that you can't see it, but this is different times,
Right. Yeah. But the thing is like, okay, we can talk about, I guess, I mean, when they're shooting at Yul Brynner's character, you or other character, you do see blood, so I mean, it's not like it's like a kitty film. I just,
right, not at all.
Wish they could have just gone a little extra, little more on,
Yeah, I guess I could see that by today's standards in a way. I'm guessing because what we're mostly used to. I don't know now, but I just like that it starts out as a buddy movie, two guys on vacation having a blast, and then there's nothing to laugh about anymore. Midway through it. Thing.
Right.
And it hit me at the right time, and all that underground stuff, the underground hallways and all that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And you're right though too, because if I would have seen this at 11, 10, 11, 12, I would have probably fell in love with this movie as well.
Yeah,
So,
that's why. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still considered. I mean, I'm not trying to like defend it
right.
per se, but people still consider it a good, great movie.
Yeah.
Of the sci-fi genre. But
Sci-fi genre, right?
But it did benefit immensely by me being 11 years old, seeing that. I was blown away by it.
Right.
And that was before. Yeah, now they're used to movies where at the end you can't stop them.
Right.
Can't stop them. They come back.
Right.
They come back. They come back. Back then, I don't remember anything like happening like that.
And before we get to the movie in question, I do want to talk about this movie called Rolling Thunder really quick.
Yeah.
This is highly favored by Quentin Tarantino. I mean, he loves this movie. I have known about this movie, but I've never seen it, so this was a blind buy. And I got to tell you, this is one of the great revenge films out there. This is one of the first films about people coming back from Vietnam and dealing with issues. William Devane, he comes home, right? He finds out that his wife's having an affair, and then he gets a nice gift. I won't say what it was, which was televised, and then he has people invade his home that want this nice gift. He doesn't tell because he's a proud soldier. He gets his hand cut off, and then his son and his wife, they come home, and the son tells them where it is, and then for his reward for doing that, him and the wife get killed. So then at that point, then it becomes a revenge film, and it can be pretty intense. Again, this is an early film from Tommy Lee Jones as well. So if you like the revenge film kind of genre, I definitely recommend checking out Rolling Thunder.
Yeah.
So, and then I sent you this picture of Superman, the popcorn bucket.
Yeah, I think I'm going to blow this up. This is a popcorn bucket.
So there's that right there. This, it's kind of like a paper stand, and this part comes out, and then obviously you can, put popcorn in there if you want to. But yeah, this was at the AMC when I went there. It's Daily Planet, all that stuff. So yeah, pick that up. So good thing. So Superman. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to have questions.
I'll try to think of them too.
Yeah, but one thing you guys got to realize is that this film is already established. Okay, this is not your basic origin film. Superman, they have text at the beginning of the film tells you where they are in Superman's life. He lets you know that 3 years prior he came out and pronounced himself as Superman, and that he's in the midst of losing his first battle, fight or whatever. So there's that. So I liked it for that, for the fact that we didn't have to sit through a whole new origin story like we have done, in the past with other reboots. I thought that was one of the good things about this film. Other characters are already established as well. Lex Luthor is there. So they're already well known. They know each other, but I don't think they had met yet at this point in time until the actual movie. Like, Lex Luthor has spent, years studying him. He's got this plan. He's working with a dictator, I guess, from another country to try to evade another country because Lex Luthor wants to be, have control of his own country so he can, pursue his evil plan. And I got to tell you, I really, really enjoyed this film. I've seen it twice. It does a great job establishing this new DC universe. Because really that's what its main goal is to get people excited about the new DC universe. So whether or not this movie is a hit or not, I don't think it matters. It's just as long as it's getting people interested in the new universe. Now, it's not perfect. I enjoy it. I don't love it. I don't know if I like it better than, say, Superman 2, which I think is maybe the most superior Superman movie of all of them. I don't know if you guys feel the same way or not, but
I have to give it another view. I recently watched the first Christopher Reeve Superman,
right?
But I haven't seen. Yeah. I have two back there, so I can watch it.
And which is another interesting too, because I know people were complaining because Superman cries in this movie, but I think they forgot that Christopher Reeve cried in the first Superman movie. So I don't know what their point was in that. But it's not, like I said, it's not perfect. You know, the mom, Pa, and Kent, they got this heavy accent. They're very Southern, so I don't know if that is like on purpose. They've got one big scene in the film, so you really don't get a lot of them. There's great chemistry between Superman and Lois Lane in the film. It has a lot of side characters. But don't get it wrong, Superman is the main focus in this film, even though there are a lot of side characters in the film, and they all have purposes. Now, Joe, you had mentioned that when you watched the trailer, you had said something you didn't like the scene where he says, "Hey, eyes up," and then he flies up.
I don't remember. That wasn't long enough to say.
Right.
Go ahead.
So
I don't know if it was that in particular that he says that.
Right.
Well,
yeah. I mean, so when you see the trailer, it's misleading. It's everything. The trailer tells nothing of the story of what's going on. There's just scenes, and you really, then when you do see the scene, and you just laugh, and you're just like, that's totally, I was not expecting that, So when he does like say, "Hey, eyes up," he's fighting a character. He's already up in the air. So he's kind of like eye level with this giant, 70-foot, monster. So that's kind of funny. The side characters, they don't all stand out, but some of them do. I'm a huge fan of this Green Lantern called Guy Gardner, who was big in the early 90s. He's got a nice little cameo. Another big deal was Crypto, the dog.
I was going to say, I saw the pictures with the dog with the cape.
It's a scene stealer. The dog is a damn scene stealer. But again,
even in the real comic, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's another good thing too. I wanted to bring up. Listen, if you're used to Superman being a certain way, and if you're not used to change, then don't bother. But you have to understand that throughout Superman's history, Batman's history, Hulk's history, other heroes, they've all have had different, incarnations of or reboots throughout the, in their comics. Every 20 years, every 20, 30 years, it seems like every superhero gets an update, So, and this is no substitute. You have an update story here, but it's already established. Okay, so but again, I really enjoyed it. It's fun, right? It's not too it's not a lot going on, so you don't have to be thinking the whole time. Like I said, okay. So the one thing I might have the biggest problem with is that so he's in the he's in the U.S. or whatever, he's there. He's got his Fortress of Solitude, and every time he goes there, he listens to his real parents from Krypton. They have a message for him, and there's the message, but half of it got destroyed when he crashed into the States. So Lex Luthor then invades. He finds a way into the Fortress of Solitude, and he figures out the rest of the message, which is not very favorable for Superman. So he then presents that to the world, and then now Superman appears, seems to be the bad guy. So he has to turn himself in and try to explain how he doesn't feel what his parents, their original idea for him, for him to do once he got to the States. He's got to convince everybody that's not really what he's going to do. But I don't want to spoil it because it is kind of interesting, but I don't think it was the right way to go with the film.
Well, there was a part of me that actually was thinking of going, because I don't know, I was almost thinking it, put it that way. I still might. I don't know. But
I'd be interested to hear your take on it.
Well, when I see some of these things, I try to realize, it's a different time, it's a different audience and everything. Although still, it's a different audience. a lot of old time Superman buffs are there too.
Right.
And some of the negative things I heard about it, I was wondering about touching on with you. A problem that I have in a lot of these movies, both Marvel, I guess, and DC, too many one-liners and gags every minute or two.
Yeah.
Like not jokes, but look, I mean, it's okay once in
But
a
listen,
while.
I mean, Ned Betty was the one-liner in the original Superman. You have to have kind of like some comic relief in
comic
in
relief's
films.
one thing.
Yeah.
But I don't like comic with drama relief.
Right. Yeah.
But
right.
But there were a lot of those one, like, I mean,
there was, but I mean, it's not every other line. And also, let me just say this before this is the most comic book movie I've ever seen. It's like a comic book coming to life.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I remember someone once told me that, but he's really old school. He told me that about the movie that everybody hates, the Batman 1966 movie. He said that was the one that was most like the comic books.
Oh, I love that movie. I don't hate that movie.
Yeah, it's probably
sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb,
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean, and then even in the Christopher Reeve one, there's the bit. Comic relief is good. It works.
Right.
If it's done right. There's the part where he's in that movie where he's going to change his clothes and there's no phone booth.
Right.
there's those pay phones that are like stand up on a stick.
There's things that's also funny, especially with involving crypto. I mean, there's a scene where Clark Kent, he needs to recover, right? Okay, so he's lying in bed, he wakes up. And he looks down and he sees Crypto lying on his chest, and it's kind of cute and funny at the same time. There's another scene involving Crypto where he bites off an enemy's helmet so Superman can punch him. So I mean, there's kind of funny-ish moments like that, but it's not all one-liners. It's also action scenes that are kind of comical at the same time.
The action scenes. Okay, you mentioned now. I can't stand CGI 90% of the time.
Right.
Depends on what they use it for. Okay, if you're going to have them fly, use the CGI and flying.
Right.
But even I saw a trailer today, and I was scrolling, and it was 30 seconds. I mean, it was short. Mm-hmm. But in this trailer, there were a few fight scenes. I don't know who he was like grappling with or getting flung around and everything, and it looked like a cartoon again. Even on the little phone, not on a big screen, even on the phone, his face looked like it was an animated face. In 1 second, I don't know. It's like they were they in like a ball field or some field or something?
Yeah, they're yeah. He was fighting the main two villains. That's not Lex Luthor. In I think it was like a Cleveland football stadium or baseball stadium. I forgot what it was. But and I think it was filmed at one of the Cleveland stadiums. But that's again, in order to do certain things, unfortunately, you have to have some form of a CGI.
No, you don't. No, you don't. This is our first. Right. What did they do when it was fight scenes with people before there was CGI? I mean, to make them fly, okay, you gotta have, I get that. To watch Terminator 2 and have a guy liquid metal like
you can't have people flying into the ground of a stadium and make it look real without using some kind of CGI when they're kind of like embedded into the turf. You can't do that really.
Okay.
You can't have people fall from the ground after flying and then slide into the turf and without using CGI.
They've done things like that. I don't know how they worked around it, but
animation then or something or whatever. But
if the character himself is what I'm objecting to, Superman in those scenes, even on a little 30-second scroll on a phone, it looked to me like it wasn't really an actor. It was like a cartoony Superman for that. It bothered me, and I'm like, I'm not seeing this.
Right.
It really annoyed me.
Your first mistake is you're seeing it on a phone. That was your first mistake.
Well, the whole point I'm making is if you can decipher that it's a fake on a little phone on a big screen, you're really going to notice it, no?
Well, a good CGI, when it's done well and the action is so quickly goes so fast, you're not gonna think about it. You're just watching it and you're so involved in the show that to me, it happened so quickly that I didn't think anything about it. You know, I was just so enthralled into the movie that when stuff like that happens, I don't think, oh, that's good CGI. You know, I didn't see any bad CGI. You know, in my opinion.
All right, Tim, when are you going to see it?
I'll see it in 110 years.
Yeah. As soon as he finds it at the thrift store.
Okay, there's lots of comments, so I'm going to go way up here. Almost. Hold on, give me a second here. All right. Where does she store her DVDs? Oh yeah, we did that already. Sorry. We been here, done that. Wow. I'm sorry, folks. I didn't realize. Oh shit! Wow. Okay, I'm happy you watched To Sir with Love. There's a made-for-TV sequel. I just found that out today. I didn't realize. Also starring Portier. It may appeal to your girlfriend. I'd like to see the sequel after liking it, the first one. Yeah. What's up there, Henry?
Hey, Henry.
I have no interest in Braveheart. How about you two?
Oh, I love Braveheart's fantastic.
It's not really. No, not really. I would have seen it by now if I had an interest in it.
I saw Superman on Saturday. Had a great time. Gee, I'm so surprised. Really good start to the new DC franchise. It got fantastic reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So 83% for critics and 92% for moviegoers.
Yeah. Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes, I don't take them seriously. Well, they're maybe for new movies, which is what you're doing actually. So, a new movie going by, but if they're going to review old movies, I don't want to hear about them. You've got a viewer who spent a year and a half working on this film. Is that you? That's you, Josh?
Oh, cool. Yeah.
All right.
He has another comment towards the bottom, so that's really cool.
Okay, Nicholas Hoult has become my favorite Lex Luthor. Whoa, what a surprise! Yeah. As Ralph Kramer.
He is pretty good. He is pretty menacing, a little bit more than what Gene Hackman was.
Well, it doesn't surprise me It made a lot of money. This is the people we're dealing with today. It doesn't surprise me.
But the Doc, that's a failure. You got to make $300 million your first weekend, or you're a failure, according to Doc. So.
I want to go see the new Superman. I grew up with the Christopher Reeve, Margot Kidder Superman movies. Is it best that I don't compare the new movie to the old movie?
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, why? Don't. Just go there and review it on its own merit.
Okay, new Superman has the hottest Lois Lane, hands down.
She is a gorgeous, gorgeous woman.
Hotter than Terry Hatcher?
I think so.
In the TV series Lois and Clark, that was her, right?
Yeah. Lois and Clark.
We're up to last series of George Reeves, The Adventures of Superman. Now you're talking. We watch an episode every Wednesday. I'm laughing because anybody who's never seen that, if they watch that now, they're like, "What the hell is this?" Because it's old-fashioned now.
Okay,
I like the first Lois Lane better than the second Lois Lane.
It was cool.
Which a lot of people don't realize. A lot of that stuff was made up just for like the Truth, Justice, in America. That was made for the TV show.
Yeah, I understand that. I found that out, but still, when it becomes iconic, though, even if they made it up on the TV show, it becomes iconic, and they won't say American way no more.
Superman is why? What's wrong with that?
Sorry, this show started development probably about 1949, only like 4 years after World War II. And suddenly the whole Russian thing is starting to come in, and people are very patriotic back then.
Well, does he say something? Did they say? Let me ask you this: did they say a form of that line and change the line a little bit? Truth, justice, or something.
They
do, right?
I don't recall.
After two times.
Yeah, I'm seeing it a third time on Saturdays, so I'll try to.
Somebody
look out
told
for
me
that.
that they said truth, justice, and something for everybody, or something like they. If you don't mangle it. If you don't want to include it, don't include it at all. But don't change it to suit your.
You're
I,
included.
I,
All
I agree
mankind is
with
included. Is everybody, Joe. All mankind is everybody. Okay, and what's wrong with everybody being nice and have
I
respecting
told
each
you
other?
what's wrong about it.
No matter what country you're from.
There's nothing wrong
okay?
with it, but there's nothing wrong with loving your own country as well.
Sure.
That's
But you
not
know
what I'm
what?
talking
He's
about.
Superman for everybody. Okay.
The point.
Superman was an American hero, so that's what
It's because he landed in America doesn't mean he has to be American only.
Can I say it? The bottom line is when that line becomes iconic, you don't agree with it. You say, well, that doesn't fit anymore.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I say the line's iconic, even if it was made for the TV show. It's become just like Up and Away or whatever. It's become an iconic line.
Right.
Truth, justice, and the American way.
You and I know that. You and I know that. But
so my point is, if you don't like that, because it's not like all inclusive anymore in today's society, then don't use any of it. Don't sit there and take it and change it. That's my opinion only, but that's how I feel. Don't say truth, justice, and for all mankind and women. Don't forget womankind and everything else kind. Don't forget that you can't say mankind either. But oh boy, let's see in it. But anyway, that's just my opinion of it. Make a whole new line altogether that doesn't say truth, justice, and I don't know. My opinion. One-liners in this new Superman were actually handled very well. It wasn't too much, not too little, and the jokes for the most part landed. Yeah, the scene where Soups knocked some teeth out of a bad guy looked phony.
Because it wasn't real.
But you can do that. They've knocked teeth out in the Sopranos. Somebody got their teeth knocked out. You can do that without CGI. But
again,
everything.
You have to see. I mean, if you didn't see it, all you saw it was from a commercial. When you're seeing it during the movie, you might have a different opinion about it.
In general, I have a rule against using CGI when normal people or practical effects can be just as good. That's when I have a problem with it. That's they're just lazy. It's lazy. It's like and this is totally off to another movie, but in like Will Smith, I Am Legend, at the end they got to have cartoon. I call them cartoon out of sarcasm. They have to have cartoon villains. Why? Right. You can't just have people in makeup and stuff. It got to be cartoons. What the hell is that necessary? It's not necessary.
Well, until people can actually fly themselves, unfortunately, there's going to have to be some form of CGI.
Rewind it, and I said flying's fine. I said that. You remember me saying that? The first thing, that's one thing, to fly. And by the way, they did flying without CGI and all the other things.
Oh, please.
And Christopher Reeve looked plenty real flying. You'll believe a man can fly was the tagline of that movie.
Yeah, we all believed it when we were kids.
But Steve, please. People, you know what gets me? People say that about CGI. We were kids, but now we're grown-ups. This is these CGI effects today, not to say Superman, because I didn't see it, but in general, are the most phony, cartoony, plastic-looking, silly things. I don't understand how anybody can accept them, and most 99% of the time, I can tell, I don't know how people eat that stuff up, but they do. Here we go. Filmed that in the Cleveland Guardians baseball stadium. Months of coordination. And you'd be surprised to know how many of those stunts were done in camera. It better look like it, because it didn't look like it in the one that I saw. Maybe the one they showed in the trailer was not one of the ones that was done. When you say in camera, what does that mean? Like done right, authentic.
Well, in camera is how they used to do special effects in the silent days. Like in the silent days, to get double exposure and stuff, they would film something and then they roll the film back and film something else over there and roll it again over the same film. They used to, even up to into the 60s, they were still doing that a lot.
You meant practical effects.
Yeah, not that much anymore, but they still do it sometimes.
Well, how are they going to make a movie where they actually have a house fall on a guy and he's standing in the window? How are they actually going to do that? Talking about Buster Keaton, right?
You know,
That famous scene.
we talked about that before. He was very lucky because
Besides,
the measurements were actually, wrong.
yeah, but now we're getting.
He did that twice. He did it in 2 films.
Right.
He did it a second time after that.
But is the conversation like, it's dangerous and they shouldn't have done it because it was dangerous, or is it impressive as a moviegoer because they actually really did it? Like, which one? I say the same thing with Jaws all the time. That's always the go-to example I have. All they had to endure in order to make that movie. You know.
Right,
Well,
but then again with Jaws, I mean, he was really lucky because as we know, that thing didn't work for a lot of the shoots.
But I don't see the point pertaining to what we're speaking about, whether he was lucky or not.
Yeah, but Joe, CGI. Come on, look at the CGI in Westworld compared to. If he had CGI in '75 compared to what we have now, and if he went weeks without a shark working, do you think maybe it would have crossed his mind? Well, we have this new technology called CGI. Maybe I'll.
Yeah, but I don't. We're talking about two different things, though, Tom. Because I'm glad it didn't work as a moviegoer. I'm glad that it worked out the way it did, that they couldn't use CGI. I've seen things like, was it Deep Blue Sea? There was some ridiculous movie, I think it's Deep Blue Sea, that I saw, and what still sticks out in my head, a scene where Samuel L. Jackson, I think it is standing there, and this thing was cartoon sharp, goes up and I'm like, that was, it looked, to this day, what was that, the 1990s? I still remember that scene thinking, oh, it looked like Looney Tunes, and when you see a real shark, it actually looks like a machine. It looks fake, when you see it. But anyway, we're talking about Jaws as well,
right?
As usual. But I use that example because I love the idea. Like I said, if they would set everything up, and then the tide would shift, or they'd lose the light, or the sailboat would come in the back. They always tell that story. A sail would take like 2 hours or an hour and a half to move out of frame, and they'd have to wait. Today, you just blot it out. You did great, terrific. But to me, that's part of the enjoyment as a man who's wowed by the magic, of having to work hard for a movie to make it work. I don't know. To me, it's more exciting.
We should get this Josh up here and have him talk, because he seems to know a lot about this kind of thing.
Well, if you want to, Josh, but I got to know you.
Yeah.
Well, you can't see my whole Wolfman shirt, but what's my best and worst Wolfman movie? Well, first of all, the best Wolfman movie is The Wolfman with Martin Sheen Jr. You're surprised I feel that way? Although it's really Frankenstein meets The Wolfman, the sequel, which I think is the best werewolf movie ever made. Worst Wolfman film? Well, you calling him Wolfman or werewolf in general? Werewolf of Washington sucked. Sorry, Doc.
Yeah.
It's a great scene. And I had no problem with when you said Superman cried. That didn't bother me. Well, hearing about him crying doesn't bother me.
Right.
But he starts crying. He hates Superman so much he's crying. Okay.
And the other fact too is that Superman technically is an alien, or if you want to call it a legal alien, or an immigrant, or whatever you want to however you want to call it, and that's one of the reasons why I don't mind where he's for everybody. Okay, he should be a Superman for the Earth, not just for a country, one country. I feel if there's a problem in any, no, I'm just saying, just let me finish. If there's a problem in another country, he should be able, if he wants to, he should be able to go there and assist and help in any way.
I'm not objecting to that. That's a great thing. I'm objecting to if they alter other lines to accommodate that instead of creating their own, or if they're not truthful to the original character. See, I don't know enough to know when they first created. Was it for America?
What's that?
Was he just for America in the original Superman stories?
Maybe, but I do also know that he was created by two immigrants.
America was hiding back into being an isolationist country when that whole thing was going on. So yeah, because the communist threat and all of that, and that's
the
what
Cold War at the
about.
same time. Yeah,
That's what that's all about. It's fighting for democracy as opposed to communism.
No, I got no problem with fighting for all people. How do you word it right? Because you can't word anything right today to satisfy people. The thing is, it should be for all mankind. It should be for everybody. No problem. I just don't like them. Like I said, changing.
Truth, justice, in the American way isn't exclusive to the rest of the world. It just means they want.
And it wasn't.
All it means is they want people to be free. That's all that means is freedom.
Right.
That's all it means. It's not just for America. It's the American way, not America. The American way is freedom.
And it's not original to the comic. It was original to the TV show.
No, I
but as I said a while ago, even if it started with the TV show, but it's since then become an iconic phrase, like faster than a speeding bullet.
For your generation, it's an iconic phrase. For all the kids that are coming, that are going to see it now, Joe, I don't think they would even know that.
Well, then why dumb? So they're going to dumb everything down for the new generation.
It's not dumbing you down. It's just introducing that phrase differently to a different generation, I think. And I'm not saying I agree or disagree with you, Joe. I love that line as well. I'm just saying that every 20, 30 years, everything gets updated. And not everything is going to last the test of time. Now that phrase is a fantastic time, but it should work right in this. It should work now, but they decided to present a different saying, I guess.
Well, for sure. Yeah, this is a reference to Seinfeld, obviously. Yeah, it was hilarious seeing some people on Twitter call the new Superman woke. Ask them to define the word crickets. Yeah, I could define it, but why get in trouble?
Well, no. I mean, listen. The TV show that Dean Cain was a part of was called Lois and Superman. Okay, the woman was in front of Superman. That's kind of woke. And that was in the 90s?
Sounds better though. It just sounds better like Lennon McCartney.
Right.
Oh boy, there you go. That's the new saying. Okay. Right. Oh, I meant to block him, not delete. Not delete. Okay. Not gonna put up with that here, Henry. No way. For instance, the scene in the trailer where the air canisters blow and he covers the girl. That is a practical stunt effect done on location, shot in one take. Then another, we just shot the actors with no effect. Then they're comped together, but both are filmed practically, not CGI. Well, I'd have to see the scene you're talking about.
Right.
I don't know. No, I don't.
Yeah, there's a scene, where the canisters blow up and Superman comes up behind the girl, and it's kind of like all slow motion thanks to the Matrix. Everything's got to be slow motion now in these films. But so I mean, it looks fine. It doesn't look like that scene doesn't look like it was CGI to me.
Why do people even want to live in Metropolis? It's a more dangerous city than Gary, Indiana.
It was. There was a lot of stuff going on in Metropolis in that 2 hour span.
Yeah. Can I say something in defense of no CGI that is hard to argue with? You watch a movie from the 40s through the 70s, okay, and you see something. And you go, how did they do that? And you really don't know. And you puzzle over it and you go, and you don't have that anymore. And that's what CGI, that's not good, I don't think. It used to be certain things that, how did they do that? Because there was no CGI. And it's like, you had to be clever. Now you don't have to be clever. Now you just, we'll have it done. It'll be fine.
If you want a comic book movie to look like a comic book, which for me, this movie does, you have to use. I mean, if if you want Superman's face to break the cement, okay,
Yeah,
you have to
I'm
use
not even
some
talking
form.
about this movie though. I'm just talking about it in general.
But they've still managed to do things like that throughout the entire history of movies from silent era on. I don't know. I don't have an exact example of Superman's face, but they've done things. They used to do things like that. They would find a way to make somebody's face melt or somebody, whatever it'd be.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I do, and I've seen stuff like that where you're like, oh yeah, how did they do that? Yeah. But I think with movies like this, I think just CGI just works a little bit better.
Yeah,
let me give you an example. In the movie you saw recently, Westworld, right?
Yeah.
You remember the scene near the end, which is a great scene, when Richard Benjamin throws acid in Yul Brynner's face.
Right.
His face starts to sizzle, and smoke starts coming out of it.
Right.
And it's starting to burn his face. They did that by makeup that consisted of makeup and Alka-Seltzer together, so that when water hit it, it would start to bubble. And they would pump real steam through. And I remember reading, because I have like a book on this, and like he had to hold his breath. Yul Brynner was like getting full of smoke, and he's like going, he's trying to find his way. And then he said, cut, he explodes in an attack of coughing. Like he held it in for all of that. See, as a film goer, that's I love that. He had to hold his breath.
Right. That's one of the downsides of it, I think. I'm not disparaging it. It has its uses and its necessities. I watched Logan's Run, and everybody in Logan's Run has this jewel in their hand that glows, right?
Right.
Well, these jewels had to be run on batteries. There was no piping electricity through the air like there is today. So they all had to be wired. Everybody was sleeveless. So you had to have a wire hidden somehow in your hand from the battery, disguised under, it was hard and it was practical and they had to figure it out, and today, if they remade Logan's Run, there'd just be digital diamonds in everybody's hand, done.
And so my question then, Joe, after that scene is then the next time you see him, and I'm like, okay, why does he still have a face?
Why does he have a face? Because it was partially melted away.
No, it didn't really look that way to me. When the next scene, the next time you see Yul Brynner's character, then he still has a face. I mean, when acid is poured on, you would think
his face is melted.
I feel like he got enough acid poured onto his face where you shouldn't see any of his face. He should not be recognizable.
I don't agree with
in
that.
My opinion. In
193 views, I've never thought
that. and then he's all on fire, right? Okay, right. and then the next scene, Well, we'll talk about it after I watch it again.
Yeah, he's a robot. And somebody, by the way, you got to see the when they set the guy on fire. It's fantastic. Mm-hmm. They have the making of. It's not on the. I don't know if it's on the disc. I don't think it's on the disc. Well, it's great. They torch a real guy. He had to be on fire in that scene,
which they still do. They still do that stuff.
Well, why if they could just cartoon it in?
Again, safer, though, I mean, but I mean, if it saves the money on the production, sometimes they're going to do that.
No, I know why they do it. I know, and it doesn't ever work for me when people say, which they do all the time, if they would have had these things back then, I think we even kind of said so, then they would have used it. Well, that's a moot point. Yeah, I'm sure they would have, but that doesn't really fit it. They didn't have
evolution. It's the evolution of filmmaking. I think.
I think it's the devolution.
I think as people are creating all these new techniques, like Star Wars. I mean, they had to create all these techniques, these new techniques to make this film happen, and then all the films that came after that benefited from all of these inventions that they created to make these effects. And as other things came up to be, the James Cameron, the Avatar films. I mean, that's all CGI, and people.
I've never seen them. I have no desire to.
I know. Well, I've and they're the highest grossing films of all time.
So
yeah,
Since when is it about money? Because
tells me more about the state.
That's what I'm saying. It tells you how popular these films are.
Yeah, it just shows me how dumbed down we all are.
There's a bunch of sheeple that go out and watch all this stuff. I don't know what to say. Planet of the Apes. It's amazing having John Chambers amazing appliances to people act through that stuff. That's freaking. It still looks better, I think, than these CG capture, which is different, right? CG capture is different from CG. Andy Serkis, he's still got to act. He's got to act like a monkey. And stop with the monkey stuff. Who's ever making the rest of them? It's time for them to be upright, human like apes. They've evolved enough now. They shouldn't be looking like freaking primitive apes anymore. The new series.
Right.
But anyway, that's my opinion, of course. And I do wonder how Mo Howard floated away covered in tar. That was really great, that scene. Fellas, get me down.
Yeah, so they did do a cameo. So then also in the film, they do a cameo with Supergirl, who is going to be, which is going to be the next film in this new DC universe. So you see her for a couple minutes in the film. She does a quick cameo, and I thought was pretty cool too. Can't wait for that one next year.
Listen, Henry, okay. Tom mentioned just a little while ago Superman 2. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I didn't see it. That is considered, unless I'm mistaken, I know that's considered the best superhero movie, or at least up to this point. Superman 2. No CGI.
One of them. Yeah.
No CGI. So don't give me this stuff that you're too young to know. You're 22 years old. Okay, I love practical effects way more than CGI. But Joe, the one type of movie that needs it to work are superhero movies. It worked before CGI. Okay, so I don't know what you're talking about with that. It has to do with story, character, heart. I'm not saying Superman doesn't have it, the new one. I didn't see it.
Oh, this film has a lot of heart, a lot of hope. One of the great speeches, one of the great speeches in this film is at the end where he, is in the process of defeating Lex Luthor, and then he gives this speech. He says, "Look, I get scared, I make mistakes, but you know what? I care and I love, and that's one of my greatest strengths."
Definitely understand where you're coming from with the overuse of practical effects. I do feel if there's a movie that's justified in its use, it's Superman. Okay, well, like I said, I don't know how we went along with all those other days, and some of them look terrible. Hey, some of them look terrible. Like, what's the one I'm thinking of? The black and white. Was it a serial with Kirk Allen, or was it not the Kirk Allen? When they actually had a cartoon, they did have a cartoon. Whenever he would fly, it would be a cartoon, literal cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous. I mean, it didn't, so I'll go along with that.
Yeah, I'll defend that because that was made for kids. That was a serial made for kids on a Saturday afternoon. So I'll defend that because that should be a cartoon. It's for kids.
Okay. I think there's room for all of it. Well, obviously, they don't have much of a choice anymore. Another film I'll say with practical effects, The Exorcist. All the things that happened in that movie that were like unheard of at the time, to be able to pull off vomiting on somebody's face, their head spinning around, walking upside down like a spider on a staircase.
The spider scene. That I know that was probably very difficult to. Pull off.
I mean, so, but one thing I do like now, which I've said before, is I don't mind them taking wires out and things. Now they can take, like, if you have an old movie and War of the Worlds or something from the 50s and you see wires on the ships, take them off.
Yeah. Well, they could do that in the 70s. They were talking about that in the Logan's Run commentary.
It does actually matter. You're a pain in my
our
ass.
wires were so
here,
good, we didn't have to remove them, but we could have if we had to. But we didn't have to.
Yeah. But some of that stuff in The Exorcist, I mean, the head turning scene does look fake.
Well, now it does maybe, but I don't know.
I mean, at the time when you're into the movie, right. when you've seen a movie like you've seen Westworld 193 times, yeah, you're going to start noticing, certain things. But when you're,
I have never thought his face should be gone. I've never thought that. It burns some of the surface of the face off. There's all blisters all over a spot of his face. You don't want to watch The Phantom of the Opera from 1943 then with Claude Rains, because he gets a whole thing of acid thrown at him. Yeah. And he's only got one side of his face burned, and he's human.
Yeah.
His skin,
Yeah, well, it's a good thing they didn't use real acid.
Nah, well, you got to try all kinds of things these days. I got thunder here. Boris Karloff was talking about a movie, The Lost Patrol, where he was really shot at. He was like, a sharpshooter shot at him, and he's
right.
Cool. I saw Superman the other day, and it was embarrassing and left midway.
Oh well.
Alan Cook wasn't his cup of tea. So,
Yep. Again, it's not going to be for everyone.
yeah, special effects, original Star Wars trilogy, far more impressive than the CGI used in the prequel trilogy that came out. Do you agree with that?
I agree. I absolutely agree with it.
Then that's a good example of everything we're talking about, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm not here to defend CGI. All I'm just saying is in the movie, what the bits and pieces that I've seen, it didn't bother me.
But see, I will say this though, that I don't mind the new versions of the first 3 films that they made, that they've gone back and enhanced them, and I actually don't mind that. I like it. So
I hated that the CGI the Jabba the Hutt character and made him.
Well, okay, I didn't love all of it, but a lot of it, I and it's like the Star Trek 66 to 68 series, whatever. They've gone back and redone some of the stuff, and it looks good.
Yeah,
it looks good.
Yeah, on the Blu-rays, you can have the choice if you want to watch with the new special effects or the old special.
Yeah.
Now,
I like giving you the choice. I think Star Wars
right.
should do that too. I think Star Wars should actually give you both versions of the film, and you can watch whichever one you want.
Go back and change some things from the original into CG.
Yeah. Star Trek, they did that 10 years ago, and but it looks good. It looks good. If you didn't know it, you would never notice. You would just think maybe this looks better than I remember, is what you'd think, but you wouldn't realize that they did it. The planets all look better. A lot of it just looks better, and I don't mind it.
Right.
So if it's done properly, I just don't like it when they.
Yeah, but everybody's going to have a different definition of properly, Tim.
Yeah, I know, but I don't like it when they make things, especially if not. And I'm not talking about a superhero movie, just a movie in general that can't actually happen using CGI. That bothers me. I like CGI that you don't really notice unless somebody points it out. Do you know that was CGI? Like I like Sin City. That movie's entirely CGI, but I like it. It's fine.
Yeah. 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 Thank you, there, Thunderer.
Would it be better for the 4 movies about the Beatles using actors that take you out of the movie or CGI likenesses because of the familiarity of the story? No, I don't know what you mean. If you mean make them look CGI like the real Beatles, no, I don't.
I think he means using CGI to make the actors look more like John, Paul, George, and Ringo.
No, I don't agree with that.
That's just creepy. Think of that McCartney video from a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
back one. It's just
back one,
creepy in a way. It's just creepy.
Well, that's true, Josh. That's 100% true. It's about different opinions and different takes on things.
Exactly.
And that's very cool that you got to work on that on the Superman movie.
Yeah, Josh, I didn't know you do all that stuff.
Yeah. You guys hiring?
Wow, so that was a good Superman talk. Wow, that was a lot of Superman talk. I plan on putting the S like on the black side, where in the black boxes here. I'm gonna put the S on it so people know it's a Superman.
And look, I could mention more too, but I'm not trying to be doing spoilers either. If people want to go see it, but
he saves a squirrel. Is a spoiler for you.
Yeah. There's a spoiler.
The sweetheart Superman, very mushy.
Yeah.
And let me say this, because everybody knows I don't like superhero movies and all this stuff, but I'm not telling anybody not to go see it and not to enjoy it. And if you go enjoy it and like it, then great. I'm happy for you. It's just not my thing. That's all I'm saying about all this. I'm not against it. I don't want them to stop. Again, blockbusters are what's keeping the movie business alive. Right. Without them, we wouldn't have movies at all. So I'm not. It's just not for me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and there's certain genres of film that I don't mind I don't mind superhero movies getting rebooted only because of the fact that, like I said, every 20, 30 years in the comic books, superheroes get rebooted in a way. I mean, look at Doctor Who TV show. I mean, that gets rebooted with a different actor every 3 to 7 years, or the James Bond films. I mean, they get rebooted every so many years with different characters. So it happens.
Yeah, see, I hate shit like that. Yeah, Peter Cushing, and that's the movie that I saw. Whatever the last one I saw had.
That was Rogue One. Yeah, that was Rogue One, and they had an actor that had his facial features. But yeah, they still used like a CGI and they had the permission from the Cushing family to do that. But that one was 10 times better than the Princess Leia one that showed up, at the end of the film.
Yeah, I remember that too. That was the last time I was in Maine when I saw that. I was like, oh boy.
But that stuff is only going to get better, though, and it has gotten better.
Well, they've said that, but why don't I ever feel like it has, though? It's been since the 90s. It's been this bad to me,
In 10 years, somebody will just go up to a computer and say, make me a 2-hour movie.
That's what's going to happen.
Starring blah, 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 blah about this, and it'll be it. And then in 10 minutes, they'll have a complete movie and they'll put it out. And
so a few years later, in the Star Wars universe, okay, now you got this TV show called The Mandalorian, okay? Now they had the Luke Skywalker character, okay? They had a different actor playing Luke Skywalker, okay? But they used the same technology to put Mark Hamill's face, superimpose his face on the actor, and that looked 10 times better than what they did with Rogue One, and that one I think was only 5 or 6 years, 3 or 4 years, after the fact. So they have, they have done it, and and the de-aging thing too, kind of like with the Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and then in the Irishman, that they use that in. Some of it works and some of it doesn't.
The last Raiders of the Lost Ark, I heard they de-aged Harrison Ford. And
they did that too, which in a way looked better than other movies that have used that deep fake.
And I was thinking, I don't know about de-aging, but I know about aging. I keep thinking about, again, The Exorcist with the elderly priest. I saw that. I didn't know for a long time as a younger person that was even in makeup. I didn't realize that.
Right.
But it's harder to make somebody young looking by makeup.
Right.
Now I remember, Tom, we did a little show on
this. Yeah, we did, and I thought it was a little disappointing.
I didn't think much of that movie. I've had it with aliens. All those aliens. I had it.
The only scene that I really, really, really appreciated was when they're trying to walk through the room with all the face huggers on there, and then they have to run out of there because then they were all waking up or whatever. But I thought that was really the only intense, kind of scene in the movie, and I thought I was really disappointed with that.
Oh no. We were talking about this for the last 45 minutes, I guess. Or I don't know.
You got to go back.
No, I don't want to go through that again.
Just really quick. No, I'll just tell you that I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the future films in this new DC universe, but I didn't think it was great as, like, say, Superman 2, which is, I think, was probably my favorite of the Superman films.
See that, and that says a lot, though. I respect that. It says a lot.
Yeah.
If you like something older like that, that's not made the same way with the effects,
right? Yeah.
You don't, some people like Henry, who's no longer here, was saying, you can't make a superhero movie without it. It's like, get out of here, you. What is my age?
You can, but I mean, listen, I know, Joe, I know you were a big comic book guy. I know, so was I. Okay. However, when I want to watch a Superman movie from comics that I collected, I mean, the CGI enhances, in ways that practical effects maybe can't. But then again, I know you're going to disagree, but practical effects are great. But if I want to see somebody go through a building, sometimes you got to use CGI to make it look more realistic.
They went through buildings. George Reeves went through buildings.
Yeah.
I don't know. What I don't understand is you've watched movies. You're a big movie fan. You've watched movies of all types and all years and decades. You must have seen them try to do the fantastic things. I don't mean that they all look really bad. I mean, some of the TV movies look.
And some practical effects look terrible too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they find a way. I don't know. I don't know. Gotta get those Toho movies with the.
Right. Not every building that Godzilla steps on in the 1950s looks real, Joe.
No, I rather the monster look. I rather the monster really be there though, rather than the buildings. Rather watch Super Friends.
Yeah, that's kind of silly.
Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna see that thing.
No. I remember being a huge fan of Super Friends, but then I tried to watch a few episodes recently, and I'm just going like, how did I ever like this?
I don't know, man. Like even Alien, talking about Alien again. At first, there was no CGI in the first one. It's the best one still, and Alien's the second one to a point. Then Alien 3, it's all CG. The thing running around like Wile E. Coyote. Pretty sure it's CG a lot. That's in 3. Oh, God help us.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. Don't forget to go back and watch the beginning so you know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it, folks. I guess unless you have anything else. I mean, we could stay for a while, or what do you guys think?
Ice cream.
Get out of here. Poison. You eating that poison? Ice cream. Grow up. Talk about it.
Oh, grow up.
Eating that crap. Get out of here, man. I don't envy you eating that crap. Come on.
Oh, please.
They're going to get that beer belly.
I've already got a beer belly, Joe.
Oh, God, I don't know what else to say. All right, well, that's it. This has been quite a rollicking show, which I knew it would be. But that's it, folks. What else can I say? I'm tired. I don't want to say everything, all the other channels and everything. Subscribe to the other channels. You guys want to plug anything, be my guest.
2 Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast on YouTube. Check it out. Please subscribe.
Snapcracklepop.podomatic.com. New podcast coming soon, I promise.
I got to deal with Danny in less than 12 hours. Tomorrow morning, Danny is going to be on my show again on the other channel, which is going to get its title changed pretty soon in a couple of days.
By the way, Joe, did you see my shirt or wore this?
Yeah, I meant to mention that before. I did catch it. I'm sorry. I did catch it. Thank you very much. Better late than never for a nice contribution. Thank you. Yeah, Joan Jett, that's pretty good. No, not me. It's amazing to me. I freaking don't eat ice cream, and it kills me because I used to have like 3/4 of the box, and what the hell, whatever. It's slow because I'm not a kid anymore. You know what I mean? Tanner, we're about to stop now, but better late than never.
Yeah, how you doing, Tanner?
We have to go.
Yeah, go watch it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll see the Superman intense discussion. Whatever. So anyway, that's it, folks. Join us next week or whoever can make it next week. And we will do it again, as you know. So watch your movies. Go to the theater. Skip Superman. You don't have to see that.
Watch what you like.
No, I can't say that because I didn't see it. I have no idea how it is.
Exactly. Watch what you like, and sometimes watch something that you wouldn't expect to watch. Step out of your comfort zone every once in a while.
Sure. Life is short, folks. Watch what you want. But anyway, no, but I know you got to get out of your comfort zone. To serve with love. All right, everybody. Talk soon. Cheers.